what's going on, everybody? Ryan Newpel here, Knup Sports Show, episode 169. Hope you all are doing very well. Hope everything's going well in your world. Hey, we have another very special guest today. As you all know, we love to interview people, business leaders, people making noise and doing great things in this crazy world of sports betting and online gaming. And today we have another really special guest. I'm excited to hear what they have going on in Ohio. Without further ado, I'm going to bring in Adam Suliman, the Vice President of Online Gaming at betJACK Entertainment. Adam, how are you today, buddy?
I'm doing great, Ryan. It's good to see you.
Really good to see you. I'm glad you joined me today. How's everything there in the great state of Ohio?
It's never better. We have an official launch date that was announced for real money sports betting of January 1, 23. So we're all steaming towards that date at a breakneck speed. So it's pretty exciting.
I mean, before we dive into you and betJACK and all of the above, let's talk a little bit about that date and kind of, has there been a lot of anticipation leading up to that? And is it finally a relief to like have a date in place that when it's going to become legal in Ohio?
Yeah, I think there's yes, for sure. It's a relief to have a date and to have a firm date. The legislation in Ohio always had January 1 as the latest that we could go live, right? But there was a lot of talk in the industry about, maybe we can go earlier. I think there were some aggressive folks in the industry saying, yeah, we can be live by football season. And we've heard basically everything in between that and January 1st of 23. So, it's helpful as an operator in the space because we have to plan for launching a brand new product. And this is a brand new industry in the state of Ohio, right? So we've got a lot of work to do to make sure that when we go live, we do it in the right way and that customers get the product that they deserve. So it's very helpful for us to have a firm date that says, look, this is when you're going live. And now we can adjust all of our planning exercises to make sure that, when we go, the product is as good as it can be.
Yeah. And while some may not be happy that, oh man, January 1st, that's so far away. Hey, there's the date and it's a lot sooner than Florida is going to make it happen. So, I mean, look at the bright side, right?
Yeah, that's right. There's silver linings everywhere. I will tell you, there's a number of my neighbors that were not happy when they heard that date. They stopped by my house and let me hear all about it yesterday. So,
like you have something to say about it, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's all good.
Well, awesome. Well, Adam, tell me a little bit about yourself. Being currently the Vice President of Online Gaming at betJACK Entertainment, I'd love to hear a little bit about your career path and kind of what brought you to where you are today.
Yeah, kind of an unusual career path, I think. I started actually in the mortgage business. I worked for a gentleman named Dan Gilbert, who owns the Cleveland Cavaliers and Quicken Loans and a bunch of other businesses up in Detroit for a number of years. And this is, that was kind of my career. That was my job. I was in the mortgage business and did a lot of process improvement work and technology work for that organization as it scaled. And then around 2009, there was a voter referendum in the state of Ohio to legalize casino gaming. However, nobody within our organization had any experience in casino gaming. And for whatever reason, Dan called me and said, hey, you want to, switch from the mortgage business to the casino business? And I said, well, look, I don't know anything about the casino business. He's like, nah, it's not rocket science. We'll figure it out, right? So here I am, 12 years later, still trying to figure it out. But since I joined the gaming side of our business, we built a few casinos. We acquired a few casinos. We sold a few casinos, and I've run everything from horse racing to digital betting to our process improvement group to, I think I was responsible for table games for a period of time as well. So I've seen a lot of the business. It's really, nothing's quite as sexy as mortgages, but casinos are pretty close, I guess.
Yeah. So for people that don't understand, they're in Ohio. Where are you located? Where's the physical casino that you guys have, or multiple locations you have there in Ohio? Tell us a little bit about where you're actually located.
Yeah. So betJACK Entertainment's headquartered in Cleveland, Ohio. So our primary home office is downtown Cleveland. We have a large full-scale casino operation right downtown in the urban core of Cleveland, which is a great, a kind of unique approach to casino gaming. Typically, they're out in the suburbs, so we built ours right downtown. We also have another property just outside of downtown Cleveland called Thistledown. It's a thoroughbred racetrack and racino property. And racinos are essentially just they have video lottery terminals, don't have table games, no poker, but they will have a sports book. So we own those two properties in Cleveland. We recently sold a property that we owned in Cincinnati. And then we had owned a property in Detroit as well that we sold a couple years back. So
Awesome.
we're all based in Cleveland now.
Very, very cool. Well, once that January 1st date hits, you got that sports book up and running. That's going to be on my bucket list to make sure I come to Cleveland and check it all out there once we're legal and live. So let's shift focus over to the online side, right? Because you're really focused on online gaming and the how that's all going to work. And I know you guys have been preparing for this for years already. I mean, you guys have been doing things to kind of lead up to this, which kind of leads us into betJACK and some of the things you're doing over there. Talk a little bit about that process and what you guys have been doing to prepare for this launch of online sports betting in Ohio.
Yeah, to not take us too far back, but we started thinking about the digital space about 5 years ago or 6 years ago, and I think there were a number of conversations we had internally where we just sort of saw this trend. It was right around when New Jersey was going on live with online casino, and there was a lot of chatter in the legislative hallways in various states where we were operating that iCasino was a potential outcome, right? And so for us as brick and mortar casino operators, we needed to figure out whether or not we were going to take a defensive position and just sort of protect our brick and mortar business as best we could, or are you going to build up your digital capacity so you can compete in the digital space? And we made the decision to do the latter. So at the time, we launched a free-to-play online casino product called betJACK. It's been remarkably successful for us, and really proud of the work that the team's done on that. And so that was really our first foray into the digital gaming space. And since then, we've built out a completely separate platform for sports betting, which will ultimately be also our real money online casino product if and when that's legalized here in the state of Ohio. So it's been a long road, and we've certainly learned a heck of a lot. Probably made a lot of mistakes along the way as well, but it's a key part of our strategy now as an organization to be an effective player in the digital space.
Yeah, and I think you guys went about it kind of a unique way, right? With the launch, and we can get into more of the betJACK training camp that I know you guys have launched, and you're excited to kind of start getting people to play around with it before it's actually legal, right? Explain a little bit more, and I'll pull it up aside here because I think it's a really cool product. I want you to talk a little bit about what the training camp is.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. What we recognized pretty early on through a bunch of focus grouping that we had done here in Ohio is that one, folks were really excited about sports betting, right? People in Ohio want to bet on sports legally. But we also realized through those conversations that the customers really didn't know that much about sports betting. They weren't very knowledgeable about how to bet on sports. And frankly, some of them were a little intimidated by the sports betting nomenclature, just sort of the vibe, right? Because it's a big world, right? It's a heck of a lot different than it was 20 years ago, where you just kind of pick the winners of the game. Nowadays, you're picking the winner of every quarter. What is going to happen on the next pitch. You're combining bets together. Player props are much more complicated than I think they used to be. And so we built this platform for real money, but we realized that, hey, look, we have it. Is there a way we can give this to our customers now just so they can learn, right? Like, let's give it to people in Ohio. They can mess around with it. They can figure out how sports betting works. And so we worked with our technical teams and we were able to convert it to a free-to-play product, and we launched it in April. And essentially what the training camp is a free-to-play sports book, but it is exactly like a real money sports book. All of the normal betting markets that you would see are there. Most of the features and functionality that we're going to have with our real money product are available. There's a few that we're keeping to ourselves, and we'll launch those with real money. But for the most part, this is the product that folks in Ohio can expect to see from betJACK. And our customers really seem to like it. I mean, it's practice. You have the opportunity to make some bets, and maybe you're making bets on sports that you don't know a whole lot about, but you're curious about, and you get to do it for free. And I don't know about you, but I feel a lot better about losing free money than I do losing my real money. So
I totally agree. And I think it's a brilliant way of going about it here, Adam, because I think, one, yes, it helps the players. It helps them to really get a look feel for how you guys are going to come to market, right? I mean, it kind of lets them get used to it without having to wager the real money. But also for you guys, I mean, it's a huge win because you're now able to kind of fix the bugs or I don't want to say bugs, but fix the user experience. So when it is real money, you guys are going to be ahead of the game there. So I really think that's a win-win on both sides there.
Yeah, that's a great point, and it's one that I think gets missed a lot, right? Yes, for sure, the product is good for our customers to get their feet wet, and it's a training camp for them. But I think, as you pointed out, almost as important is the training camp for our team as well, and to make sure that when we go live with real money, we're completely dialed in and we're delivering a product and an experience that we can be proud of and that our customers want. And at the end of the day, that's the goal, right? So anytime you can get a couple practice rounds in before the real thing, it's usually a good idea.
In golf, I need a lot of practice rounds before
Yeah,
the real.
man, I've given up on golf. Forget it.
Me too. I don't know if I've ever really started, but
Yeah, right.
when you say practice round, I'm like, I'm always in practice round mode in
Yeah,
golf.
no doubt. No doubt.
So let's talk about, I don't know what I want to call it, the race to market, or like, so when January comes around, there's going to be a number of licenses issued. There's going to be a number of operators all kind of jockeying for position. You obviously have the nationwide brands, the FanDuels and DraftKings of the world that are probably already have some sort of a play in Ohio, getting ready to play. How do you look at that, and how are you guys gonna be able to compete with brands like that?
Yeah, it's a fair question. It's one that we wrestle with a lot. I think there's so much money in the system, frankly, Ryan, that it's hard to say you're going to compete against that. At the end of the day, you're not going to spend as much money as some of these big national brands, and so you have to find a different path, right? And I think ours is a pretty simple story, really. We're a local company here. We're not a big national organization. All of our team members are here in the state of Ohio, and I think that gives us a kind of a natural hometown advantage. And I say that for kind of two reasons. One, hometown teams make a difference in states like Ohio, right? Like and I think this is true for a lot of states, but Ohio in particular, folks are either from Ohio or you're from the rest of the country, right? If you've lived in Ohio, if you've been around folks that grew up in Ohio, I think you know what I mean. Yep. And it's like that for a lot of other states too, but Ohio in particular. So I think there's something to this, Ohio made brand, I think makes sense. And then the other thing that I think is maybe even more important is that we have the ability to be a little bit more nimble than these national players, and we can focus on the sports and the betting markets that are most meaningful to the customer base here in Ohio, which may not be very meaningful for folks in New York or Arizona or Michigan, right?
Yep.
And I do think that makes a difference. I think customers want to participate with products that are relevant to them. I know I do. Yeah. And so if I'm seeing promotions for Arizona playing Denver, that's probably not very interesting to me as somebody that lives in Cleveland, right? I'd much rather place a bet on a game between the Browns and the Bengals, or read content and articles and listen to podcasts that are talking about that particular game as opposed to the one that's being played on the West Coast. So I think that gives us a little bit more of a nimble approach to it. And frankly, at the end of the day, our philosophy is we just want to deliver a really good product experience to our customers here in the state of Ohio. And we get to, I think, in a very unique way, just focus on the state of Ohio. And I'm not sure that's true for everybody else in the industry.
Very, very great answer there, Adam. And I totally agree. I think there's something refreshing about a local brand, a local company doing stuff like this. And I love that you're not necessarily thinking about it in the way that you're trying to compete with all these national brands. You are who you are. You have that brand, you have that local feel and flavor, and people already know who Jack is in Ohio. And so I love that answer. And like I said, it's refreshing to see. So I'm excited to see how you guys do, and I'm sure you're going to do great.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thanks, man.
Yeah, so let's shift. Let's just shift real quick here. I know you're a busy man. I'm almost done with you, I promise. But let's shift as I want to ask a little bit more about the challenges. So some of the challenges that have went into, going from a concept to now you're pretty close to delivery, right? And so, what have some of the biggest challenges your team and you have faced throughout this whole process of legalizing sports betting in Ohio? All right, what's some of the challenges you guys have specifically faced?
Yeah, well, one thing I could say off the top is that this industry is not for the faint of heart. It's hard. This is hard work for sure. And I had a colleague of mine from another company, not a colleague, I guess a counterpart of mine from another company, probably about half a decade ago, when I was telling him we were thinking about building a digital division. His company was already going through the same thing. He said, man, I don't know if you want to do that. It's really hard. And I was like, come on, how hard could it be, right? He was not kidding. It's hard to put all of these different components together. A sports book on the surface, the part that the customer sees is relatively straightforward, right? But the amount of wiring, for lack of a better term, that has to occur behind the scenes is it's overwhelming, and it takes a lot of time to figure it out, right? So fortunately, we've taken the time to do it. So that to me was one of the biggest challenges of somebody that's not been in the digital gaming business before half a decade ago. Going through that learning curve of understanding how all these different systems need to work together, and they need to work together every time, right? Because the instant that one of them fails, your customer doesn't get to do what they want to do, and that's a catastrophic error. So that was a big challenge for us. I mean, I think the rest of it, because we're already a gaming company, the licensing components, the regulatory components, we are pretty well organized there already, right? Because we've been running casino properties for a long time, and so I think that was a little bit easier for us than perhaps it is for some of the other companies that are new and trying to get into this space. But I would say those two things, right, between the systems and platforms, and then the regulatory licensing components, those two things are probably the biggest challenges for anybody looking at this space.
Yeah, it certainly is a challenging area, and in this time, and where data and like all the live betting and all this stuff has to work so quickly and
Yeah.
always be accurate. I mean, there's just so much that goes behind the scenes to something like that. I can't even imagine. I don't envy anybody that's putting out something like this, but man, it seems like you've done a great job, and you're now just months away from an actual real money product being live. So that's amazing.
Yeah, it's a big accomplishment for the team, and it's a testament to the people that are working on it, right? I mean, there's a lot of folks that are a heck of a lot smarter than I am that are plugging all these wires in, and I'm very thankful for them. I can tell you that.
Gotta have a great team, right? Gotta have a great team to make
No
things happen.
question.
So most of the audience here, most of the audience watching this show or listening to this show is going to be for iGaming business professionals, leaders in this space. What's one thing, before I let you go here, what's one thing you're looking for? Are you needing help? Or what's one ask you might have of the audience? I mean, if anything at all that you could just ask, what are you guys looking for help with?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think what we're seeing particularly in the sports betting space, but even the iCasino space right now, is this massive, I guess, growth in vendors sort of servicing this part of the business, right? So there's all these really good ideas, really smart people that are trying to figure out how to do things better in this industry, which is great. And that's exactly what you'd expect with a fast growing industry like the one that we're in now. The one thing that I think we all need to focus on as an industry is what's the end game, right? So we have all these really good ideas, but what does it mean for the customer at the end of the day, right? Does it actually make the customer's life easier? Because that's what we're focused on from a product standpoint, right? Anything that we look at integrating at this point, it's all about, okay, what does it actually mean to the customer at the end of the day? Does it make their process faster? Does it make it easier? Does it just look cool? Like what's the end game here, right? And so I think that as an industry, that's what we need to focus on, because the customers, they will participate in these products now because it's new and novel, right? Will they continue to participate in these products if we're not delivering the very best product experience 5 years from now? And I don't think they will, right? I know me personally, I will try anything once, but if it's difficult, I will probably not continue to use it. And I think as an industry, we just got to be careful there. And I think we need to really focus on the front end product. What does that mean to a customer? How can it be easier? How can it be more straightforward? How can we be super transparent in our promotions and our bonusing so we don't have customers that are confused about what they're getting? And I think those are the things that's the top of mind for us. That's what we're focused on every single day.
Amazing. Well, Adam, this was great. I really appreciate you joining me. Let's do a little link dropping here before we go. Where do people go to check what you out personally and what you guys are doing with betJACK? What are some of the links that we can put in the show notes?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is go check out the betJACK Training Camp product. You can get it at either one of the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store, or you can check out our web version at betJACK.com, and go in there and play some bets with funny money and see if you can hit that 14 leg parlay, Ryan.
There you go. Now, can people actually play the free to play game outside of Ohio?
They sure can. So free to play is not regulated because it's totally free to play, right? So it's not actually a gambling product. It really is an entertainment product. And so and it's one that we're proud to put out there, right? It's obviously not free to develop these things and to maintain them, but we felt not only that it was a good marketing tool, but I think more importantly is a bit of an obligation to help customers inside the state of Ohio and really everywhere get the chance to practice a little bit before they have to put their hard-earned money on the line.
Yeah, absolutely, Adam. Well, I'll let you go. I appreciate everything you've done. I want to wish you and the entire Jack team best of luck as this journey continues and as January 1st comes around. If there's anything I can do to help you personally, let me know. But I really appreciate your time today, Adam.
Yeah, absolutely, Ryan. Good to see you again, man.
All right, take care.
Bye.
All right, that was Adam Suliman of Jack Entertainment, man, one of the great guys in the industry, doing some awesome things. I think you could see there as well, very smart and doing some awesome things with Jack Entertainment. Urge you to head out to betJACK.com, check it out in the App Store, check out their free-to-play training camp, they call it, and it looks pretty smooth. It looks pretty slick. So we'll go out there and have some fun with it, see if you can win some tokens and credits that they have going on out there. And yeah, Ohio, January 1st, 2023. So those in Ohio have something to look forward to. I think Jack Entertainment and betJACK is going to really make some noise in that state once time comes. And we heard from Adam today. So everybody listening, really appreciate you. If you have someone you'd like to see on this show, any guest at all in the sports business, sports leadership, iGaming leaders, if you know someone that would be a great guest, please hook them up with me. I'm Ryan Newpel out on LinkedIn. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, anywhere as well. But LinkedIn seems to be a great place to find me. Man, we're through 169 episodes of this show. So the next one will be 170. We're shooting towards that 200 mark. Hopefully by the end of the year, we'll hit 200. That's the goal. So let's get some more guests on here. Let's talk to them. Let's hear some about what some people are doing in this awesome space, iGaming, sports betting. All right, everybody, take care. Stay safe. Until next time, I'm Ryan Newpel. Talk to you later.